A frozen wind sweeps across a lonely island in the Atlantic. A man stands watching the gray horizon, his great ambitions reduced to the sound of waves and silence. Just a few years earlier, all of Europe trembled at the mention of his name. How did a young officer from a forgotten island rise so high and fall so completely? To understand that moment of exile, we must return to the chaos of late 18th century Europe. France was tearing itself apart. The French Revolution had shattered a centuries-old monarchy, replacing it with fear, instability, and bloodshed. Kings across Europe watched nervously as revolutionary ideas spread beyond France's borders. Armies clashed, governments collapsed, and in the middle of this turmoil, opportunity appeared, but only for someone bold enough to seize it. Napoleon Bonaparte was not born into power. He came from Corsica, a small island newly absorbed by France, speaking with an accent that marked him as an outsider. His family was minor nobility, respectable, but far from influential. In Paris, elite circles looked down on him. In the army, advancement was slow and competitive. France was desperate for strong leadership, yet distrustful of ambition. Napoleon had intelligence, discipline, and relentless self-belief. But in a world already burning, that was not enough. He needed a moment. That moment arrived in 1795. Paris was on the brink of rebellion once again. Royalists threatened the fragile revolutionary government, and panic spread through the streets. Napoleon, still a relatively unknown artillery officer, was given command of the city's defense. He did not hesitate. He ordered cannons loaded with grapeshot and positioned them strategically across the streets. When the uprising began, he unleashed devastating firepower. The rebellion collapsed within hours. Paris was saved, brutally, decisively. Overnight, Napoleon became indispensable. From there, events moved quickly. Victories in Italy transformed him into a national hero. He outmaneuvered older, more experienced generals and forced powerful enemies to their knees. Soldiers adored him. Politicians relied on him. In 1799, with France exhausted by war and weak leadership, Napoleon seized power in a coup, not as a king, but as first consul. Within 5 years, he crowned himself Emperor of the French. The revolution that promised equality now bowed to a single man. Napoleon reshaped Europe. He reformed laws, centralized administration, and introduced the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that still influences modern legal systems today. Borders were redrawn. Thrones were toppled and replaced with his allies and relatives. Yet his success carried a cost. Endless wars drained France's manpower. His invasion of Russia in 1812 proved disastrous, as cold and hunger destroyed his army more effectively than enemy fire. One defeat led to another. Eventually, Europe united against him. In 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate and exiled to Elba. He escaped, returned to power for one dramatic 100 days, and met his final defeat at Waterloo. This time, there was no return. He was sent to the remote island of St. Helena, where the world he once dominated could only be imagined. There is a detail often overlooked. Napoleon was not exceptionally short. Contemporary records place him at around average height for his time. The image of the small man with a big ego largely came from British propaganda, eager to belittle a defeated enemy. Even in defeat, his enemies feared his legacy enough to reshape his image. Today, Napoleon's influence is everywhere. In law, military strategy, national identity, even political ambition. He remains a symbol of how talent and opportunity can collide with devastating consequences. His life raises uncomfortable questions about power, how it is gained, how it is justified, and how it ultimately slips away. And so we return to that lonely figure on the island, staring into the Atlantic. Was Napoleon a hero of merit, a tyrant of endless war, or simply a man shaped by extraordinary times? Perhaps the real mystery is how close ambition can come to greatness before it becomes downfall. If this story made you think differently about power and history, share your thoughts in the comments. Was Napoleon a product of the revolution, or did he betray it? If you enjoy exploring history through stories like this, you're always welcome to continue the journey here. And on the end screen, you'll find another chapter waiting, a natural next step in understanding how one life can change the course of the world.